Bismillahi walhamdulillahi assalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Today, inshallah, we will try our best and cover and complete the study of Surah Tuaha. We will go through the last ayahs of the surah from 113 until 135. Before we proceed, like any other lesson, we will go through quickly actions from our previous class. Number one action that we went through and we captured for ourselves in the previous class was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked four things to do from Bani Israel. And of course, they were not just for Bani Israel, also for us. Number one was eat from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided, which for us means also enjoy all the halal things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made halal for us and provided for us. But don't transgress, avoid shirk, sins, haram, meaning don't cross the boundary. The word transgress means there's a right path, there's a wrong path. So we don't have to all cross and move from the right path to the wrong path towards the haram thing. So we have to not transgress. And we know Bani Israel, in the previous lesson, we learned that they went through and did shirk and started worshipping the cow that Samri at that point in time, he inspired them to. So don't transgress. And again, same applies to us as well. If you transgress, so if you cross the boundary that you're not supposed to, then face the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world as well as in the hereafter. But if you repent and do righteous deeds, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a perpetual forgiver, meaning he continues to forgive us as we continue to make mistakes. But obviously the mistakes should be honest, should not be like planned that, okay, fine, I'll do this wrong act and then I will ask for forgiveness. This should not be the case. Action number two was hold on to the guidance, which is the Quran and Hadith and Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and use it as a practical guide in all big or small decisions of your life, because you have to implement Islam as well. And we will also have a related ayah in today's lesson, inshallah, as well. So despite the clear guidance in front of us, we stay in denial as individuals and as nations. We look for shortcuts to get benefit in this world while we completely forget the hereafter. The last action from previous class, biggest deception of shaitan is there is still some time left. So whenever we are thinking about the future, it feels like, so there is still a long way to go. We have a long life. So I'll start doing this when I'm 50. I'll do this when I've done this, all of these things. However, the important thing to understand is that we have to be better Muslims every day from now. There has to be some urgency because we can die any moment. So our reality can come, we can die, and that would be the stop of the test that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put us through in this life, which is the purpose of this life, right? We are going through a test. Similarly, we will go through, inshallah, ayahs at the start of the lesson today as well, which are demanding similar action. So let's go to today's class. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ayah number 113. وَكَذَلِكَ أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا وَصَرَّفْنَا فِيهِ مِنَ الْوَعِيدِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ أَوْ يُحْدِثُ لَهُمْ ذِكْرًا. And thus we have sent it down Quran in Arabic, meaning it was sent down to Arabs. So of course it had to be in the language that they completely understand. And Arabic is a very rich language. So it explains the meanings in multiple layers for people to understand. So we have sent it down Quran in Arabic, and we have explained in it of the warnings that may fear or it may cause for them to remember. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying Quran is a warning. And this is a point that I wanted to also talk about a little bit in more detail. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying Quran is a warning. So let's expand and let's try to understand what is a warning. So warning, does it mean that, you pass on the info, or you just, tell someone something, I warned you? Or is there something more to warning? What does a warning mean? Who will tell me? Whatever comes to your mind, guys. There's no right or wrong answer. Anything coming to your mind? What is a warning typically? Anyone? Anything? Any thoughts? Okay, so let me explain. Quran is a warning, and okay, somebody just posted something on a chat. Better to so Azan, Jazakallah khairan. So you're saying to avoid something. By the way, you can unmute yourself and speak up. So feel free to speak up. There's no problem. So you're saying to avoid something. Yes. So warning is, and Jazakallah khairan. By the way, that's the right answer, Azan. Thank you so much. So Warning means that when something is passed on to you, it comes as a sign, and now you have to avoid something or you have to escape. That's right. Let's take a typical example that all of us can relate to. And by the way, the next slide I had was, what is the purpose of warning? And you're right, Azan. Basically, it means that something that you have to escape from or you have to take an action from. So I'll just give you a very common example of a warning. For example, there's a fire in the building or in the house. Okay, then the warning will be the fire alarm, right? The fire alarm starts to ring in a lot of places. And when the fire alarm rings, and let's say it's a big office building and people are just working and they're doing their normal work, then this is info for them, right? So the information is reaching through their ears. So the alarm bell is ringing and it's very annoying at times, it's very loud. And they understand that fire alarm is on. Now, most probably if there is a fire, there will be smoke and there will be other stuff as well. So let's say this is the warning. So what should they do? What do you guys think? Normally what happens when there's a fire alarm and people are, listen to it? What happens? What should they do in a typical case of a fire? Guys, what should they do if there is a fire? Anyone who wants to answer? Are you guys with me? Can you hear me well? Hello? Aziz has his hand raised.
Alhamdulillah.
Aziz, go ahead. Yes. So when a
So I think
fire alarm happens, what do people do, Aziz?
like you follow the instructions. Like if you're in a building, you don't go down with the elevator, you go with the stairs, and you meet at a certain point and stay low so then you don't get smoke. And so like you follow the instructions and you go to the nearest exit, and that you do all that stuff.
Excellent answer, Aziz. This is the answer, by the way. This is so, I mean, you gave a lot of details, but the point is that you take some action. And same thing I just saw in chat, Azan, you mentioned, let me read it again. It's better if you can just speak up. So rush towards a safe place, right? So yeah, you're right. So what people do is, or normally they should do is, they should evacuate. They should run away. They should move out. So out of the building and try to go to a safe place. And Aziz, Jazakallah khairan, you gave us a lot of details on what they should do. So there is a protocol. It's not like that, if it happened in a house, then let's say the kid is playing a game and a fire alarm happens, or his mother comes or father comes and says, there's a fire in the house, and he's saying, no, wait, let me finish my video game. Or if in an office building, let's say there's a fire alarm, then people, it's not like, no, let me just finish this work. I'm writing a very important email. Even if the building is on fire, smoke is coming up, I will just completely ignore all of those signs and I'll just continue working on my work, right? This doesn't happen. This is not normal. What happens is that you immediately take action when a warning sign goes up. So warning means as soon as you get the info, the important thing is not just to get the information. However, you have to take some immediate action to prevent yourself. Just like Azan and Aziz, both of you, Jazakumullah khairan, mentioned, you have to take an immediate action. You have to escape. You have to do something. So it's not, the work is not complete when the warning sign is made. In fact, that's when the work is starting, right? When a warning sign is made, after that, you have to take action. And after that, you have to do something for it to be effective. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Quran is a warning. And we know Quran is Al-Furqan. We have studied this in our previous lessons. Al-Furqan means something that distinguishes between right and wrong. Right and wrong meaning, as I said earlier, that this life is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a test means that there are right answers and there are wrong answers. Similarly, we have to live our lives according to the right things or the halal things or the allowed things or the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes, like praying and worshipping. And we have to avoid all the harmful things and the haram things that we have been asked to abstain from and move away from. So this is the warning. So if you follow the guidance, you will get the reward. If you don't follow the guidance, you will get the punishment. So basically, for us, it is not just enough to recite Quran really well with the best of tajweed. Of course, we should do that. We should have very nice tajweed and we should recite it properly. But that's not just enough. Or to understand it well. So we are going through these understanding, explanation, tafsir classes, and you may have multiple, there are other tafasirs available and meanings and explanations are available of the Holy Quran. Going through them, yes, we have to go through them, we have to get that knowledge. But again, that is not enough. The important thing is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying Quran is a warning, which means once the knowledge comes to you, you have to take action. So if you don't take action, then all of the knowledge that you got, it's like the alarm is ringing, the building is on fire while you're just, doing whatever you were doing, or you're not bothered. And then eventually you will get burned, right? So you have to take immediate action in order to benefit from that warning as well. So that means action for us is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying Quran is a warning, as soon as we get the info about what to do or what not to do, we have to take immediate action. Warning is something that is, urgent. So we have to take immediate action. And we just learned it in the previous class, action, that we don't know how long we will live. So we may die anytime. So which is why it's a warning. So there is not like, I have enough time and when I'm 50, then I will do this, and when I'm 60 and I'll do this. No, you don't know. You don't have a guarantee that you will continue to live. So I hope the point is clear. Moving forward. Fata'ala Allahul Malikul Haq. So high above all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the true king. So there is one king and only one king of this entire creation, of this entire world and this entire universe, who's the true king, who will always stay. In this world, kings come and go, rulers come and go. People, normally we attribute someone to king, and you have the king X, the first and the fourth, and all of those kings and queens come and go. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the true king. He has been there and he will stay forever. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is high above all. He has created everyone. In fact, the kings and the rulers we associate power with in this world are also bestowed power and authority from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَعْجَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَنْ يُقْضَى إِلَيْكَ وَحْيُ وَقُلْ رَبِّ زِدْنِي عِلْمًا. And do not hasten with the Quran before that it is completed to you in its revelation. This is being said to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who used to get eager with the revelation as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that it will be coming in its proper time and it will be received. And of course, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, being the last messenger of Allah, he also wanted to save his people, and he was eager, and he used to pray, and he used to also put it upon himself, and multiple times. And we know that in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also said that you should not take it upon so much upon yourself. Everybody is accountable for their own accord. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying there is a time for every revelation, and the Quran will be revealed to you. Waqur Rabbi Zidni Alma. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is teaching an amazing prayer, which is, and say, my Lord, increase me in knowledge. And here, if you see the context is Quran. So a very important point to note, and a lot of people, we know this prayer, this dua is mentioned in many school textbooks, and in many schools it's used as a symbol, Rabbi Zidni Ilma, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase us in knowledge. But generally it is used in common terms. It can be any knowledge, can be any worldly knowledge, and it's okay. I mean, you can recite it. But the context here that we should always remember is it's about Quranic and Islamic knowledge, because once you will grow in knowledge of the Quran and Islam, that's when you can take an action. And that's when you need to understand the warning, and then you can act upon the warning. For example, if someone is sitting there and they don't understand the fire alarm, that it's a fire alarm, there's a fire in the building, and fire alarm will keep on ringing, and they wouldn't even bother. They'll just say, what is that loud noise? Somebody just, turn down the volume of this noise. They won't get it, that it's a fire alarm and you have to run away, if they're not aware. So which is why it's very, very important to understand the warning and understand, which is why Rabbi Zidni Ilma is an amazing dua for us to make in order to increase our knowledge of our religion. So it's one of the actions for today is that we should learn and recite this prayer, Rabbi Zidni Ilma, O Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, increase us in knowledge. Moving forward. وَلَقَدْ أَهِدْنَا إِلَىٰ آدَمَ مِنْ قَبْلُ فَنَسِيَ وَلَمْ نَجِدْ لَهُ عَزْمًا. And verily we made a covenant with Adam and Adam alayhi salam before, but he forgot, and and not we found in him determination. So he did not fulfill his promise. He was not steadfast with his promise. And we all know the promise was that he was asked not to eat from a fruit that was in the heaven initially. However, he did, and we'll just go through that story right now. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ وَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى. And when we said to the angels, prostrate to Adam, then they prostrated, except Iblis, he refused. So he refused to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he then became arrogant. He did not even ask for forgiveness. And this is the difference between Adam alayhi salam and Iblis. Adam alayhi salam made a mistake, but he asked for forgiveness. And this is what we have been asked to follow. However, Iblis or Shaitan wants us to follow his way when he made a mistake and he became arrogant. And that's what he wants us to do in life as well. When we make a mistake, we don't go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, you're such a bad person. You cannot even go and pray. Why are you praying? You're such a bad person. You just did something really shameful. So you cannot even pray, right? These are the waswasas of Shaitan to take us along his path. When you don't go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, can connect back with him and ask for forgiveness, like Adam alayhi salam did, as we will learn right now. فَقُلْنَا يَا آدَمُ إِنَّا هَذَا عَدُوٌّ لَكَ وَلِزَوْجِكَ فَلَا يُخْرِجَنَّكُمَا مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ فَتَشْقَى. Then we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "O Adam, indeed this is an enemy to you and to your wife." Who? Iblis, Shaitan. So don't let him drive you both out of paradise so that you both suffer. Inna laka alla tajua fiha wala ta'ara. Indeed, for you, you will not be hungry therein, and you will not be unclothed. So you will remain intact when you are in the heaven. You will be well fed. You will never be hungry. Just don't go towards one particular fruit and one particular tree. And you will not be unclothed, meaning you will be taken care really well off. And clothing also means it's an act that saves you from shamefulness. And we'll go through that in the upcoming ayahs as well. So you will remain respectful, and you will not be hungry. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have all the provisions for you. وَأَنَّكَ لَا تَزْمَعُ فِيهَا وَلَا تَزْحَى. And that you will not suffer from thirst therein and exposed to the sun's heat. So you will be very well protected. You will be very well fed. There will be no thirst. There will be no hunger. And you will have roof, and you will be properly protected from the heat of the sun. فَوَسْوَسَ إِلَيْهِ الشَّيْطَانِ. And then what happened is, then whispered to them Shaitan. Shaitan put a waswasa. He cannot directly influence. This is what we need to understand. What Shaitan can do is put a waswasa in our mind. However, we act upon our own. Because if Shaitan, if we believe that, Shaitan is making us do stuff, then on the day of judgment, we can clearly say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I did not do it. It was a Shaitan who made me do it. No, it's not like that. He just puts that waswasa. The action is taken by people, which is why they are held accountable on their own. So whispered to him Shaitan, he said, "O Adam, shall I direct you to the tree of the eternity and a kingdom that will never deteriorate?" So he said that, I will take you, if you eat the fruit of that tree, then you will be living here, and you will have a great life, and all of that, whatever waswasa he put, wallahu alam, in the heart of Adam alayhi salam. What happened as a result? فَأَكَلَا مِنْهَا فَبَدَتْ لَهُمَا سَوْآتُهُمَا وَطَفِقَا يَخْصِفَانِ عَلَيْهِمَا مِنْ وَرَقِ الْجَنَّةِ. Then they both ate from it, so became apparent to them their shame, and they began to fasten on themselves from the leaves of the paradise. So they both tried the fruit, and their clothes were taken away. And because it's an act of shamefulness to not have your clothes, they tried to cover their bodies with the leaves of the paradise and different trees that they could find. وَعَصَىٰ آدَمُ رَبَّهُ فَغَوَىٰ. And Adam disobeyed his Lord and erred, so he made a mistake. And now I want to highlight one point that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning here, and he's relating the importance of being clothed and having proper clothes and shame. So if you don't have your clothes, then it's a shameful thing. So this is something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has built in us. However, these days, we are living in this world, and how people are living in the area while they're thinking of freedom and all of that and being liberal and all. So people feel no shame at all to wear minimal clothes, especially, when you have people think that they have a great body and they're on the beach and on the pool and they want to show off and all of that. And these days, a lot of fitted clothes and slim fit and super slim fit and all of these things that almost appear as if you're naked and you aren't wearing anything, they're pretty common. and they're wearing it in normal places while you visit, right? However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that not having clothes is symbolic to being shameful and it is disrespectful, right? So the action that is for us, that is coming from that specific part of the ayah, is that we should cover ourselves properly and avoid all shameful acts. And we have to be an inspiring Muslim wherever we go. So it's not like, so beach and a pool is an exception. I can do whatever I want. Obviously, it's a pool, right? So what do you want me to wear? No, I think you have to always remain decent within the boundaries of Islam, regardless of wherever you are going, because you continue to remain a Muslim. ثم اجتباه ربه فتاب عليه وهدى. Then chose him his Lord and turned to him and guided him. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had special mercy upon Adam alayhi salam, and he taught him how to even seek forgiveness and the specific prayer to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then it was accepted for him, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him. قال بطا منها جميعا بعضكم ببعض عدو. He said, go down. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, go down from it, meaning the heaven to the earth, all, and some of you will be enemies of each other. As we now know, there are different groups. And since the time of Adam alayhi salam and later on when the first murder happened, we know that people are amongst each other enemies. فَإِمَّا يَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ مِنِّي هُدًى. Then if comes to you from me a guidance, فَمَنِ اتَّبَعَ هُدَايَ فَلَا يَضِلُّ وَلَا يَشْقَى. Then whoever follows my guidance, he will not go astray, meaning on the wrong path, and they will not suffer. So this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set up this entire world. Adam alayhi salam was sent in this world in order to freely move around and benefit from the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, he said that people will be enemy within each other because of the difference of opinions. And when the guidance comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we know after Adam alayhi salam, many prophets and messengers were sent from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam being the final and last messenger. So all of their job was to remind people so that people can continue to follow the same guidance and don't go astray. And we know that all the messengers and prophets brought in the same message of oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, many people opposed them, some people supported them, and this is how people became also enemies of each other. وَمَنْ أَعْرَضَ عَنْ ذِكْرِي فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكًا وَنَحْشُرُهُ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَعْمَى. And whoever turns away from my remembrance, then indeed for him is a life that is straightened, and we will gather him on the day of resurrection blind. So those people who don't follow the guidance, they will be raised on the day of judgment as blind. قَالَ رَبِّي لِمَا حَشَرْتَنِي أَعْمَى وَقَدْ كُنْتُ بَصِيرًا. And they will say, oh our Lord, why have you raised me? Oh my Lord, why have you raised me blind? While verily in the world I had eyesight. So why am I being raised as blind? قَالَ كَذَلِكَ أَتَتْكَ آيَاتُنَا فَنَسِيتَهُ. He will say, thus came to you our signs, but you forgot them. Messengers came, gave you message, but you turned a blind eye. So there's an expression in English that says, turning a blind eye, meaning that you ignore something. Even when somebody is saying something, you turn a blind eye to them. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that our signs came to you, but you turned a blind eye. So on the day of judgment, you are being raised as a blind person. وَكَذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ تُنْسَى. And thus today you will be forgotten. So when our signs came, you disregarded them. So now you will be also disregarded. Which is why we understood earlier that Quran is a warning. And when we don't take an action while the warning is being run in our ears, and like a fire alarm, when the warning is come and we keep on ignoring. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. So those people will be raised blind on the day of judgment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from his punishment and hellfire. Ameen. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي مَنْ أَسْرَفَ وَلَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّي. And thus we recompense he who transgresses and doesn't believe in the signs of his Lord. وَلَعَذَابُ الْآخِرَةِ أَشَدُّ وَأَبْقَى. And surely the punishment of the hereafter is more severe and more lasting. More severe and more lasting in what? Compared to what? compared to whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us. Maybe we have to leave some halal things. Maybe we have to leave riba. Maybe we are being told not to do zina and control our desires and get married in the right way and perform nikah. So all of these things that you are leaving and you feel like, I'm missing on something, or I'm not earning that much wealth because I'm not taking riba or interest. Whatever you are leaving here in this world, is the punishment of the hereafter is much more severe, whatever you will face here. And by the way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us for everything the halal way. So it's not like you are being punished for something. You can always fulfill all your desires. You can earn halal, the wealth. You can have amazing food. You can enjoy your life, still following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there are a few things that we have been asked to stay away from. And this is the test. So, and it's very easy to stay away from them, fulfill the test, and earn the reward on the day of judgment versus getting the punishment. أَفَلَمْ يَهْدِي لَهُمْ كَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا قَبْلَهُمْ مِنَ الْقُرُونِ يَمْشُونَ فِي مَسَاكِنِهِمْ. Then has not it guided for them how many we have destroyed before them of generations as they walk in their dwellings? So don't they understand from the past? And we know a lot of the stories of different nations have been told in the Quran as well, and we went through some of them and we'll continue to go through them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that don't they learn and don't they see, don't they walk around and see all the signs? Inna fi dhalika la ayatin li ulin nuha. Indeed, in that surely are signs for possessors of intelligence. If you are an intelligent person, when a warning signs come to you, you will take quick and fast action. It's not like you will ignore, otherwise you're not intelligent. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. There are signs for those with intelligence. Intelligent person will not disregard signs, right? So they will stay alert. That's a sign of intelligence. An intelligent person will understand the signs and warnings and take early action to avoid loss or harm, right? If you take action later or if you delay your action, then what's the point of even getting the warning sign? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying these people won't be intelligent, but the intelligent are those who listen to the warning and act upon them. وَلَوْلَا كَلِمَةٌ سَبَقَتْ مِنْ رَبِّكَ لَكَانَ لِزَامًا وَأَجَلٌ مُسَمًّى. And if not for a word that preceded from your Lord, surely would have been an obligation and a term determined. So basically, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala there's a timing for everything. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala already mentioned the sign of the last Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the previous books of Taurat and Injil. So all the people who are now opposing him, from the Christians and the Jews, they already know about the sign that the last messenger would come. However, they are not accepting him out of their own arrogance and greed for this world. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have not sent him and already punished them with a severe punishment, then they would have said that, oh, we did not even get the time and we did not even get the messenger. And this is what is coming in the next ayah as well. فَاصْبِرْ وَعَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ وَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ قَبْلَ طُلُوعِ الشَّمْسِ وَقَبْلَ غُرُوبِهَا. So be patient over what they say and glorify with praise of your Lord before the rising of the sun and before its setting. So this is something that we are being told in terms of prayers, and we learned from the Hadith and Sunnah of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the right way to pray as well. وَمِنْ آنَاءِ اللَّيْلِ فَسَبِّحْ وَأَطْرَافَ النَّهَارِ لَعَلَّكَ تَرْضَى. And from the hours of the night, and glorify at the ends of the day so that you may be satisfied, meaning the Zohar time and the Asr time and the night hours, all of these timings are being mentioned. However, the right way to pray, the Islamic way, obviously was taught to us by the last Prophet, Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلَا تَمُدَّنَّ عَيْنَيْكَ إِلَى مَا مَتَّعْنَا بِهِ أَزْوَاجًا مِّنْهُمْ زَهْرَةَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. And do not extend your eyes towards what we have given for enjoyment, with it pairs of them, the splendor of the life of the world. Don't look at people above you and say that, this is something they have so much and only if we could get them and all of those things. لِنَفْتِنَهُمْ فِي, that we may test them in it. So this is also a test. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you wealth or power, it's a test. It's not something to become arrogant on. وَرِزْقُ Rabbika khairum wa abqa. And the provision of your Lord is better and more lasting, meaning the provision that He has saved for us in the hereafter. So in this life, anything that is given is for a particular amount in time. It doesn't last, right? Nobody can say that I've been the chief or the kings in the last 1,000 years. No. People come and go. They get the power, they get the wealth. When they die, it is left behind. Or before that as well, in this world, you can lose all of your wealth, or there are multiple ways. So we can see different stories of people having those ups and downs. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying all of this is a test. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the wealth, the power, the position, what do you do with it? Do you utilize it for the benefit of the people, or do you become arrogant? And if you fulfill the test and if you pass the test, then the provision of the hereafter is way, way better. So even a person whom Allah SWT has given in this life, or someone who Allah SWT is testing by not giving in this life, both of them are going through the test. However, as they perform in their test, and if they do really good, then the provision that is there in the hereafter is way better than anything that they saw in this world. So the point to note and action for us from this ayah is, don't look at people better off in this world, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives wealth, power, position, all as a test. I love this picture, by the way, when I searched on it on Google. And the first guy, he's measuring the wealth of the other person, the guy on the extreme left, and he's not thanking, he's not looking down upon other people where they may have less. He's looking at the wealth, he may get frustrated, everybody's looking upwards. And the guy on the top, there is another guy who's trying to steal away from him or make him crash and all this. This is the reality of this world. The people get frustrated, and they are never content, because they're always looking at someone who's upward. However, we have been told to look downwards and be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At least I am better off. If I have a bicycle, I am better off than a person who only can walk. He cannot afford a bike. If I have a motorcycle, I am better off than a person who's using a cycle. Similarly, a car and a better car and whatever, the ladder goes in. But whenever you continue to look down and you look at people who are less than you, then you are able to thank and be content with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. So those people, there's no point of looking at people who are above and getting frustrated, and why don't I have this, and why don't I have that, and this and that. And that's what can cause you to earn from non-halal means and move towards means that are not acceptable by Islam. Moving forward. وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ وَاسْتَبِرْ عَلَيْهَا. And enjoin on your family the prayer and be steadfast therein. So prayer is something that also helps a lot. And Allah SWT is asking, it's a direct action that enjoin upon your family. So especially the male members of the family have a special responsibility, and also of course the females on their kids as well, to influence their kids to pray and be steadfast. And praying also helps us to be steadfast. So first you have to be consistent with your prayers, which means always try to establish the prayer at the right time, the correct way that we have been told, and be steadfast, be consistent. Also the prayer itself, because you keep on connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, keeps you steadfast on the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La nas'aluka rizqa. We ask you not for provision. Nahnu narzuquk. We provide for you. So it's not like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can benefit from us. So even if we pray, or if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking anything from us. He is the one who provides the risk, right? So what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to do is pray and ask our families to pray. And that in itself benefits us. So there's no benefit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no nothing that we can help Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by doing any act. No, we cannot. He is the one who's providing everything, including the risk and everything else in this world, to us. Wal aqibatu lit taqwa, and the outcome is for the righteousness. The final great outcome, or the reward from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is for those people who are righteous. So again, a direct action coming to us. Enjoin prayer on yourself and family, and be steadfast in your prayer, as well as be steadfast in following the guidance. Best lasting outcome will be for the righteous people, and righteous people are those who are following the right path, who are doing halal things and abstaining from haram, or holding back from things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked us to hold back from. وَقَالُوا لَوْلَا يَاتِينَا بِآيَاتٍ مِّن رَبِّهِ. And they say, why not he brings us a sign from his Lord. أَوَلَمْ تَأْتِيهِمْ بَيِّنَةُ مَا فِي الصُّحْفِ الْأُولَى. Again, the point that we discussed, when they say, why can't the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam bring a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding them that in the previous scriptures, which is the Taurat and the Injil, there were clear signs of the last prophet, Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now he's sharing with you the revelations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are not accepting for their own worldly reasons and their own arrogance. So, and now they're asking for a sign. Sign have been given to them. They should go back to their scriptures and they should see, especially the Christians and the Jews, and they should not ask for a sign. This, the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the revelation that is bringing is a clear sign, anyways, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَوْ أَنَّا أَهْلَكْنَاهُمْ. And if we had destroyed them بِعَذَابٍ مِّن قَبْلِ, with a punishment before him. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have already caught them and given them the punishment without sending the last prophet, Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then what would they would have said? لَقَالُوا. Surely they would have said, رَبَّنَا لَوْلَا أَرْسَلْتَ إِلَيْنَا رَسُولًا فَنَتَّبِعَ آيَاتِكَ مِنْ قَبْلِ أَن نَذِلَّ وَنَخْزَى. They would have said, our Lord, why don't you send us a messenger so that we would have followed your signs before that we were humiliated and disgraced. So this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying. Now the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in front of them. They have signs from their old books that they have. However, they twisted and changed them for their worldly needs and reasons. But they have clear signs that a last prophet would come. Now they have made changes to it. If the last prophet would not have come and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have punished them because of all their cruel acts and the changes that they made to Torah and Injil and everything, then they would have said, oh, if a messenger could have come and brought us the signs, we would have corrected our ways and we would have followed him, so that now on the day of judgment, we would not have been humiliated and disgraced like what is happening to us. So which is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying now all that conversation has ended. The same thing for us with the Quran and the hadith of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is no excuse left. There is no excuse left for us to say, oh, if only we would have been born. Because what will happen? On the day of judgment, people will be shown what they did. People will be shown that you were not following the right path, you were doing these things and you were told not to and all of this. The only excuse they can have is, oh, I did not know. What happens when you try to catch someone or a child when he's doing something wrong and you ask him, why are you doing this? Oh, I did not know. Oh, I'm not supposed to do it. So this is a normal first reaction and an automatic excuse that comes to our mind. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that excuse is gone. You have clear guidance. And especially for the Christians and the Jews, you had your own books, the Taurat and the Injil. Now you change them, and majority of them stopped believing them and turned their ways and wanted this world and all the things that they wanted to do. Even now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them the last messenger. He has the complete deen, he has the complete Islam, he has the complete Sharia, and he is telling them the complete way of life. So even now, if they seek forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and come back to Islam, which all the messengers have conveyed from Adam alayhi salam until the last prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, then still they can be forgiven. However, so this is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to leave no excuse on the table, because obviously for a fair test, you need to be well informed what you will be asked on the day of the result, on the final day or the test, right? So that we can live our lives accordingly and we don't have any excuse. Last ayah for this surah. Alhamdulillah, we are finishing way ahead of time. قُلْ كُلٌّ مُتَرَبِّزٌ فَتَرَبَّسُوا. Say each is waiting, so wait. Everybody is waiting now for the result. You don't believe what I am saying? So say, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to all the disbelievers of Makkah, to all the Christians and the Jews, you don't want to believe me? Fine, wait. Everybody is waiting. I will also wait. You also wait. فَسَتَعْلَمُونَ مَنْ أَصْحَابُ الصِّرَاطِ السَّوِيِّ وَمِنِ اهْتَدَى. All of us are waiting. Then we will know who are the companions of the even the right way and who are the guided people. we will know eventually who are all the guided people. You are making strong claims, you are disregarding what I am saying, and you're saying this is not the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or all the bad things that you're saying. Fine, and you don't want to believe in what the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is bringing, then wait. Everybody is waiting. Day of judgment will come very fast. And by the way, people's day of judgment, their own individual day of judgment, comes the day they die, because that's time up, right? So and death comes very fast, because if you look at your past life, it seems like it went past really fast, right? It just went in a click. However, there's an illusion from shaitan, as we learned in the previous lesson, that the future has there's a lot of time in the future, but this is just an illusion. Because if you look at your past life, regardless of the number of years, maybe you have lived 10, 15, 20, 35, 40 years, no matter which age you ask, people will always tell you that it went by like this, the past. And however, for the future, regardless of what age you are in that illusion that, yeah, I have time, I can plan things, and I will do this at this age, and I'll do that in this age, and all of that. But that's just a deception from shaitan. We should always work on an urgency. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we went through and we said that Quran is a warning. So this we need to have an urgent course of action in order to be better Muslim every day. Actions from today's class, just as a revision before I start the actions. Any questions, any comments from anyone on today's class? Okay. Number one, Quran is a warning. As soon as we get the info about what to do and what not to do, we have to take immediate action. And this is the definition of a warning. We went through the example of the fire alarm. Of course, when it rings as a warning, people immediately evacuate or run out. It's not like somebody sitting and saying, no, let me complete this work. Let me have the video game. Let me do this. So similarly, it's like a warning, meaning immediate action. And it's not just enough to recite it well as tajweed and to understand it well as tafsir. Important thing is action, and that's probably most of the most important thing, that you take action, meaning you correct your life according to the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us, which is why Quran is also called Al-Furqan, the distinguisher between the right and the wrong, which tells us a separator between right and wrong. So Quran tells us what to do, what not to do, and we have to take immediate action as soon as knowledge reaches us. Learn and recite the prayer, Rabbi Zidni Ilma, O Allah, increases in our knowledge. Generally, people use it for all sorts of knowledge. However, we know today the context that it was used was for the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the Quranic knowledge. So we should continue to expand on our Quranic knowledge so that we know how to further improve our lives. Cover yourself properly and avoid all shameful acts. Be an inspiring Muslim wherever you go. There is no excuse that, I was going in a pool or a beach or whatever. Cover yourselves properly. These days people feel no shame to show off their bodies, and these days a lot of fitted clothes and minimal clothes are there. We discussed them in detail in the class. There are signs for those with intelligence. Allah SWT is saying intelligent people are those who focus, who first understand the signs, and then they take early action before harm occurs, right? So they are the ones who avoid loss. So they are the ones who take immediate action and correct their lives before they die, and before on the day of judgment that they are humiliated. So these are the people who are intelligent, that they take early action. Don't look at people better off in this world. Don't look upwards, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives wealth, power, position, everything as a test. So the person above you is also getting tested. Probably the test is even higher, because they are more accountable for many things. If you have less, then you should look at people below you, so that, and anyways, we should all look at people below us to be thankful and content with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because everything in this world that is being given to us is a test. The real provision, the real risk, the real bounties, the real benefits will be in the hereafter for everyone. Once all of us go through the test, those people who have and those people who don't have, and they pass the test and they follow their lives according to the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the real lasting reward will be when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards us in the hereafter. One direct action that came: enjoin prayer on yourself and your family, and be steadfast. Best lasting outcome will be for the righteous people. So prayer also, first we have to be consistent and steadfast in our prayer. Then it can also help us to be steadfast in following the guidance and being a better Muslim every day. So this marks the end of today's lesson. I don't know if you guys have any question before I close today's class. Okay. Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa Anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Purity belongs to Allah and all praise be to Him. Purity belongs to you, O Allah, and all praise be to you. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship besides you. I beg forgiveness from you and I repent before you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers. Inshallah, I will see you next week, same time.